We realize that high school, college, even a first job can seem scary. That's why we created EdukasyonPH to equip them with tools, connect them to schools, find scholarships, learn online, match their skills to courses and jobs out there. So their future wouldn't be as scary. EdukasyonPH.
Medyo scary, no? In choosing a school, a course, or a career path, there is so much to explore. But that's why we're here. Don't know where to start? Mag-browse ka muna sa blog namin. Baka ma-inspire ka sa mga student advice, study hacks, and adulting guides. Meron kami niyan dito. Or learn about career paths that match your skills and interests. Or chat with us. Tanong mo lang, we'll point you in the right direction. O let's say may dream school ka na. You can search for it and learn more about their programs and scholarships. At kung di ka pa decided, don't worry. Search and compare different schools to fit your needs. Pag ready ka na, submit an application. Easy. Maybe you're looking for a new hobby, certification, or degree? We've got online courses for that, and the learning doesn't stop there. Join a quest and pick something up with each visit through articles or videos. And the best part, you get to earn coins and redeem real rewards. Kaya sali na! With the right tools and information, we can find the best opportunities for you. Because the future can be scary. Pero tiwala lang. Keep exploring, keep learning with EdukasyonPH.
Pangarap mo bang gumawa ng sarili mong mobile game? Gusto mo bang maging Mark Zuckerberg ng Pinas? Mayroong senior high track para sa iyo. Ito ang Information and Communications Technology Strand o ICT. Isa ang ICT sa mga strand ng Technical Vocational Livelihood Track. Sa strand na ito, makapupulot ka ng mga kapaki-pakinabang na kasanayan sa pagkukumpuni ng computer, programming, at paggamit ng iba't ibang software. Sa ICT strand, pag-aaralan mo ang skills na magagamit mo sa paghahanap ng trabaho tulad ng software at hardware installation, computer programming at servicing, at contact center services. Para magtagumpay sa ICT strand, dapat handa ka rin. Ilan sa mga katangian na kailangan sa ICT ay ang communication skills, organization, problem solving, troubleshooting, at project management. Bukod sa mga ito, maaari ka rin makakuha ng national certificates kung maipapasa mo ang competency-based assessment ng TESDA. Sa pag-graduate mo ng grade 12, magagamit mo ang national certificates na ito sa paghahanap ng trabaho, pagtatayo ng sariling negosyo, o pagsisimula ng mga livelihood program. Kung nais mo namang magpatuloy sa kolehiyo, maaari mo kunin ang mga kurso sa Information Technology, Software and Network Engineering, Electronics and Communications Engineering, at iba pa. Ano naman ang mga trabahong maaari mong pasukan pagkatapos ng kolehiyo? Maaari kang maging animator, IT specialist, programmer, computer engineer, at marami pa. Kung nais mo pa ng karagdagang impormasyon tungkol sa ICT Strand o TVL Track, bisitahin lang ang www.edukasyon.ph at pumunta sa Senior High Track section.
Ang STEM o Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics strand ay para sa mag-aaral na mahilig sa math at science. Ang mga subjects na maaari mong pag-aralan sa track na ito ay Earth Science, Pre-Calculus and Basic Calculus, at Physics. Sa STEM, mahahasa ang iyong analytical skills, numerical skills, at scientific skills. Likas sa isang STEM student ang pagiging curious sa mga bagay-bagay. Bagay ang STEM strand sa mga gustong kumuha ng mga sumusunod na college courses: Engineering, information technology, pharmacy, computer science, at nursing. Maraming oportunidad ang naghihintay para sa mga graduates ng STEM. Maaari kang maging isang doktor tulad ni Dr. Vicky Bello, nutritionist tulad ng inventor ng ketchup na si Maria Orosa, o kaya naman ay gaya ni Mang Tani na isang meteorologist at kung ano-ano pa. Kung nais mo pa ng karagdagang impormasyon tungkol sa STEM Strand, bisitahin lamang ang www.edukasyon.ph at pumunta sa Senior High Track section.
We realize that high school, college, even a first job can seem scary. That's why we created EdukasyonPH to equip them with tools, connect them to schools, find scholarships, learn online, match their skills to courses and jobs out there. So their future wouldn't be as scary. EdukasyonPH.
Hello, everyone, and good day to you. And thank you for spending your next 60 minutes with us today. I'd like to introduce myself for those who do not know me yet. I'm Rafael Kisumbing. I have my social media account at Young CTO, since I'm also the Chief Technology Officer of EdukasyonPH. So today we'll be starting off the Community Ignite series. So what is the Community Ignite series? This really is Thursday short episodes where we bring people, product, and purpose together. Now, this is for anyone who's young, in their early career, or even young at heart. Now, with the constant learning that you seek, we will be building your leadership and also technical skills as well. So to know more about these series, please do also follow us in our social media at Facebook, Instagram, at Twitter with the handle you can see below. As there you go. I'd also like to thank our co-presenter for today, which is AWS and AWS Cloud. There. Thank you again, AWS and AWS Cloud Pilipinas, for today. So before we begin, I'd like to tell you first about our title, right? So our title today is Fishing for Best Practices, Understanding and Developing Organizational Culture. So why are we fishing, right? So we're trying to mimic, find out, and copy the best practices across various different kinds of organization, whether there be user groups, startups of various ages, right? And so we would like And we've invited a set of speakers and panelists today to share with you their tips and secrets. And so you, as leaders of your own organization, or you as part of a team, may learn from their insights. And so, of course, as we begin, we would like to introduce our first speaker. Now, we're talking about here our leadership, our organization. And so, I'd like to bring into stage our CEO or Chief Executive Officer of Education, Miss Grace David.
Hi, Rafi, and to our audience who wants to learn more about being good in their leadership, it's a pleasant afternoon to everyone. So, again, I'm Grace, currently the CEO of Education, and I'm here to share with you on a little bit of best practices that we do here in Education and a bit of some personal experiences also on how we could be effective in leading organizations.
Right. And so again, thank you, Grace, for being here. And as part of Education myself, I look forward to hearing your presentation and sharing your presentation of how we do things here at Edukasion.ph.
Sure. Siyempre, mas dagdag pressure, no? So, with that, so allow me to share our company culture. So, culture is very important because ito yung unspoken items but definitely has a strong influence on how our people will be behaving, not just on certain situations but really on an everyday life that they do actually at work. So first, allow me to share what is Education all about. So Education is actually the largest edtech platform here in the Philippines. We launched the website in year 2015, and we have been visited by 10 million visitors, students, primarily each year. And out of that 10 million, we already have actually the latest numbers right now is getting to an 800,000 registered users. So it's a website. And out of this website that you're seeing on the screen, um, we have like close to 40 full-time employees. And just imagine 40 full-time employees that you've got to inspire to be doing their jobs on a daily basis, and that one happening remotely. I'm sure all of us could relate that suddenly doing things completely remote is not just asking us to be working on different just softwares and in a different environment, but also called for a different way of engaging our people. So nawala yung mga hallway chit chats, coffee and lunch breaks that you could be doing together, no, and having those like casual talks. How do we actually bring it to life in our remote setting? So I think that's one factor we've got to take note as we think of how we take care of our organization. So apart from just like letting you know on what is our business all about, allow me to share to you how we've defined the 3H culture in education. So we said that our ways of working, more than just like defining this is the step-by-step procedure on how we will be doing things, we also defined what is that kind of culture that we want to bring to life at work. And we said that the best way actually to define that was to let our team know on what is this 3H. So the 3H that we practice in education, first is staying hungry. We're in, we want to strive for excellence. We're hungry for excellent work and really excellent results. So that's the first H that we practice in education. The second H that we practice is staying humble. We're not the smartest really in the room. There's just way too many things that we could be learning. And by staying humble, we recognize on what are the gaps and what are the blind spots easily in our plans, and ready to hear out what are the things that can be added as incremental value by the other members of the team. That's the second culture that we practice in Edukasyon. Thirdly is actually being human. At the end of the day, even if we're a tech company, what really matters is that human connection that we have with each other. So we want to stay connected, not with our laptops, not with our mobile phones, really, but connected with our team members. And we express that through collaboration. So, this is the culture of education, and this is actually what ties us up together so that we could really be working smoothly and more than just like having a smooth working relationship, really, but a happy relationship and environment in education. With that culture, we now make sure that because at the end of the day, we are a business. Meron tayong minamanage na mga targets. So this is the how of how we do things in education. This time, allow me to share to you on the what of education. So the what of education is basically our growth pillars. This is our business. In the first few years of education, we were focusing very much on three P's lang. It was the people, product, and profit. It was just recently, actually a few weeks ago, that we launched internally the purpose element of education. Here with the four growth pillars, this is actually how we define education. That we're not just a business, but really we are a business with a purpose. Wherein we really want to serve our Filipino youth. So this is the what, and the culture is the how we will be bringing to life, bringing to a result the people, product, profit, and purpose pillars. So, what I'm sharing right now as leaders of your organization or the influencers of whatever organization you're in, very important that you have the knowledge of what's that culture that you really want to put in place, and of course clarity on the business aspect, which is the what. With those two that we are managing, a combination, and all those actually on a daily basis, then you know you have a living organization that you're able to manage. Last item lang that I want to share with you right now. And it's really the importance of when do you know that you really have a healthy culture in place. And my personal testing ground, if there's really a healthy culture in place in education, it's when actually any team member of education can just approach me and tell me upfront a bad news. Hindi na naka icing yung bad news or put into a certain package. If anyone in my team could actually tell me straight away what the bad news is, then I know a healthy culture is in place in education. And that's actually the behavior of my team member. I also get to check myself if I am um, also practicing good culture is after that bad news is shared to me, am I able to recognize that individual and immediately get to a conversation of how do we create solution to that bad news that we've received. So that's it. That's a very quick sharing on what we do in education, how we practice culture, and really combining the how, which is culture, and the what, which is actually your business growth pillars. Combining it too. Those are actually the main elements that the leader of an organization is taking care of. It sounds so simple right now on how we've grouped it, but I know those are actually the difficult items also that any leader is having to face on an everyday life in leading organization. So that's it. That's a quick sharing from my end on how we do culture in education.
Right. Thank you very much, Grace, for sharing our culture. And so before we open the Q&A, right, I'd like to just also greet some of our audience who have basically commented. So your comments will be flashed as well. I'd like to greet Jason Alfonso for saying good evening. We also have Sonny, who's very active in our chat and comment. Like I also like to, I miss meeting people and also eating meat. Samgyupsal with the people I know, right? And we also have Joram and Rafaela as well. Thank you again for being here. Please do comment your questions if you have questions. And I have my first question here from our space from Twitter, which is Grace. This question is, how do you keep yourself and your team motivated during stressful times, especially maybe now that we're on a particular work from home setup, right?
Yeah. So, well, first off, it's not denying yourself that there are really stimuli, there are situations that really causes stress. So, allow yourself to feel, and that's for me what I do personally, and also what I practice with the team. No, like it's really recognizing what are the causes of the stress. Then after that, it really is getting reminded why are we doing these things, and I think that's what I'm really thankful to be here in Edukasyon, especially during this pandemic, because what we do here in Edukasyon is not just a job, it's not just a career, but really it's serving our Filipino youth, knowing that the consequence of what we do is impacting the lives of our Filipino youth. Then it becomes, sige, kaya natin to, pwede pa ulit another day of work. And yeah, knowing the people that you serve, that's the one that keeps us going.
Right. I also like to just flash, no? I really like this comment from Sunny that fixing and reporting bad news should be normalized. I think this goes to your last point, no? That we shouldn't be afraid to report bad news. It happens. Everyone
Yeah.
makes mistakes. Nothing is perfect. And so reporting this should be normalized indeed. Right. Our
Sobrang
next,
totoo.
yes, our next question coming from Facebook is hi, Grace. Just curious, what is the biggest leap of faith that you took which helped your company?
Biggest leap of faith, it really is on people. And I'm sure Rafi could attest on this also. At the end of the day, even if you have the biggest budget that you could get from your investors, it's really on the trust that you will be having on people, on who would be the people that you would be putting on the team. And that's a leap of faith. All because um, it's going to be a play of your gut and trust. But yeah, I think it really is really a play of trust, like who would be the people that's gonna be on the bus. And because uh this gonna be the set of people who you are expecting not just gonna be there during your finish line moments, but more importantly during the most difficult times of challenges na malalaking problema that you'll be having.
Right, right. No, so people and trusting your people or your team is indeed such a very important aspect when you have an organization as well, or basically, building up their confidence as well, right?
Mm.
And so, yes, we do have a lot of panelists still remaining. And so I'd like to entertain our last question, which is here it is. What makes you wake up in the morning and perform efficiently?
Wake up in the what wakes me up in the morning and perform efficiently. So
Right.
first, I
Para
think what
kanino
I
ka gumigising, di ba? Yun yung...
parang may endorsement tong tanong na to. Pero, and then naka-red pa si Rafi. Okay, sige. What do you call this? It's actually linked to the earlier answer I gave, no? First, for me, I'm a purpose-driven individual. And for me, very clear that I know that my existence is really to really serve our Filipino youth. And that one re-energizes me, and that one reminds me when I have like my stressful moments. But to make sure also that I am really of a good energy at the start of the day, I make time to take care of myself. So before I could take care of education in the Filipino youth, I know that I've got to take care of myself. So in the morning, I make sure that I do enjoy doing sports. So mas mahirap lang with the ECQ, but like yeah, doing sports in the morning is what helps me perform efficiently throughout the day. So there.
Right. So thank you again for your words and wisdom and insights on our culture here at Edukasyon. And for everyone who's staying tuned, of course, we have a lot of panelists that I'm about to introduce as well. They are also very seasoned in their organizations and also in the industry, in the user group industry as well. Right. So first, I'd like to call on our panelists to the stage. My first panel guest is Miss Shell Gray of the AWS user group Build Hers Plus.
Hi, Rafi. Hi, everyone. Good evening.
Next on our lineup is Miss Michelle Alarcon of the R Users Group Philippines.
Hi, Rafi. Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me.
And of course, last but not least, is Mr. Efren Shops of Filta.
Evening, Rafi. Evening, everyone.
All right, good evening, and I'm so happy and blessed that we have such an esteemed panel here with me in our Community Ignite panel discussion. So, as we begin, I'd like to ask everyone first, can you describe your position and role in the organization that you are present in? So, maybe we can start off with Shell.
Okay. I'm very excited to share AWS UG Hers Plus, Build Hers Plus, is actually a very young community. It's a peer-to-peer community that aims to encourage diversity and inclusion. You know, we want to share ideas, answer questions, and learn about new AWS technologies and cloud best practices also. So I'm a volunteer and co-organizer in the group, in the community.
Right. Thank you for that, Shell. Right. I am hearing some feedback. Let's move on. Can I ask Michelle? Can you also please introduce yourself
Yep.
and your
Shell
community?
and Michelle. Yes.
Yes, Michelle.
Yeah. So we're both from user groups now. So I'm representing the R users group of the Philippines. It is an 8-year-old tech community that promotes the use of open source statistical programming language called R. So very easy to memorize, just letter R. And it's been, I don't know, it's been 8 years, as I mentioned, and we're celebrating, in fact, our 8th anniversary next week. So every third Wednesday, that's when we meet. Just a short plug. Hope I can invite you later dun sa aming event. No, it's a free event next week. And I'm also the president and founder of an analytics consulting firm called Z-Lift Solutions. And it's also an 8-year-old organization. And it's not a coincidence na sabay sila ng birthday ni, not birthday, but sabay sila ng birth year ni our users group. And if I may just take a few minutes, it's really because analytics back in 2013 was super, ano pa, no, there's no real big hype around it yet. And I wanted to start the consulting firm, and I found out that the software that's just available for analytics back then was really the commercial ones. And so I looked for options, but there could be more people who can get into analytics, and I found an open source option. So that's the same year that I started exploring, how can we connect with other R users out there, because it's not like a new language actually in 2013. It's a very popular analytics programming language in the US and globally. And so we just need to bring that here in the Philippines. So that's why it was also started in 2013. So yeah. yun, that's our story.
Right. Thank you. And congrats on your anniversary this month.
Thank you.
And Efren, how is Filter and what you do?
Yes, thank you, Rafi. So I'm the CEO and founder of Filter. So our business is showcasing world-class talent from the Philippines to the rest of the world. However, we've spread our wings, so we have offices in Australia, the Philippines, and South America and Colombia. So for us, it's really about finding really great world-class digital and e-commerce talent. So developers, designers, digital marketers as well, and connecting them with fast-growing digital or e-commerce agencies in Australia, New Zealand, the US, the UK, Canada as well. And for us, the Philippines has been a very good place to be. There's some fantastic talent, very driven people in the Philippines who are really world class. So for us, being able to tap into such a great talent source of happy, driven people who want to showcase their skills on the world stage has been really great.
Right. Thank you so much. And I totally agree with this, especially now. Our talent really is world class. Our locations are world class. Our developers are world class. So, to everyone who's watching, of course, you can field your questions. And in fact, we have already our first question here, which is addressed to our user groups. So, I'll address this to Michelle and Shell. First question is how to join these user groups, right? So, a very simple question. So, maybe Shell?
Okay. So we have a Facebook group actually that you can join. So it's open to everyone, especially to women and LGBT plus. So you can ask questions there about AWS technologies. You can actually ask, how to get certified. We'll be opening up schedule for mentoring sessions on how you can get certified or how you can pass the certifications. So watch out for that. We'll also have our next meetup sometime this August, third week of August. So stay tuned also. Just follow our Facebook group. There you go. So it's very, very easy. It's open to everyone. Whether you're just learning, you're a career shifter, or you're an experienced developer or cloud practitioner already.
Right. And for the R users group?
Our users groups the same. It's free. It's because the software is free, so we're also free membership. So true to the open source spirit, but it's also very easy to join. In fact, some people feel that they have to be techie, they have to know R already to be able to join, but totally not the case. We have a meetup.com account, so you can find us there and then just apply as a member. And also on Facebook. So we have a Facebook page, our users group of the Philippines, and it will take you to the meetup.com site. But I think more importantly, you can just hang out first with us in the meetups, then see if you feel like becoming a member, and then that's fine as long as you now know, you're aware that there's this user group that exists. Okay na kami doon. Then you can tell your friends, your peers, your employers about us, and hopefully get more people curious about R and how to use it. But the meetups are every third Wednesday, so that's religiously, for the past almost 8 years now that we have been doing that. So you'll definitely be able to catch the next meetup kasi alam nyo po exactly when it's gonna happen.
Right. Thank you. And I'd also like to share to our audience that here in the Philippines, we also have a lot of the user groups, especially the tech community has a website called the phtechcommunity.org, where you can actually see a calendar of events and list of user groups that you might want to join as well. Right. So, Michelle, now I wanted to ask, given your long history, it's 8 years already. Congratulations on that. What were some of the main struggles in the early years, and how do you compare that to present? And also, maybe you can also add on how you overcome it. Are there differences between a company or strategy when you're doing a company with Zlift or with a user
Yeah.
group with R?
Mm-mm. Okay. So it's a long history, but I would say the struggles are still there. I mean, let's face it, especially during this pandemic when you're not able to really bond as a community. So the struggles at the early years were the number of people. Obviously, we just launched, and there were. I remember meeting at a cafe somewhere here in the south in Alabang, and there were just 9 people, so you can count them on your fingers. And we didn't really mind because our intention is to know more about how other people are using R for projects, for analytics work. And we were just there, yeah, listening to this expert from ERI, from IRRI, International Rice Research Institute, how they use R for really cool things, right? So, and then later on, with 9 people, we said, okay, now how do we expand this group? Because we have to. More people has to hear about these things, right? And actually learn how to do it on our own, and our companies and our institutions can benefit from them. And so the struggle was really more on how to get the word out and how to find our users and our experts to help expand the community, so that more people can speak about it, right? And we just said, okay lang yan. Let's just continue, and just bring your friends. It's like, it's a bad analogy, but it's like a multi-level marketing, right? So bring along your friends, bring 3 friends, and each of those friends will bring 3 more friends. But it's really like that, no? It's the social media aspect. We didn't have a Facebook account back then because we wanted people to really be attending and identifying themselves, and not just lurking on social media. Because we were just starting out, so we needed to know who would be like the pioneers in the community. So eventually, we came across this our potential venue sponsor. So the venue sponsor was basically hosting us in their office, and because the meetups were after office hours, they were very welcoming to have a room really reserved for us with projector and all that. So we started meeting there, and it's actually PPD, so it's a pharmaceutical company, and they're not yet our users, but they were also fielding in their employees, no, and during the meetups. So we started growing a bit, and we then also had some sponsors who were very generous enough to host our meetup.com domain, which is, well, you would think it's not a lot, but it counts. Every little thing counts, right, for sponsorship. And then we there was this, I think it was on our third year, when Microsoft Philippines was actually very generous enough to host us in their office in Makati. So that's when people, because it was more accessible, I guess. The first host that we had was in BGC, and then Microsoft Philippines office was in Makati. So more people were able to go and reach us in the meetups, and that was for a good, I think, 3 4 more years, right? And then we also then again moved to another venue host, which again was also in near Glorieta, so that's Sykes Asia. So they're our current sponsor now, for venues, for the meetup venues. And it just, I guess, started from there, just making sure that people are hearing about us, and these people are connected to people who can sponsor us, and then it helped us scale. So I just mentioned that it still is a continuous struggle, because we want to have that consistency and engagement among our members. No, even though before we were less than 20 people meeting, it was pretty consistent. No, you're seeing the same set of people, and really getting to be close friends na. And then now it's you don't know who's gonna turn up. You just say, okay,
Right.
let's hope that the topic is interesting enough to get more people attending. So yeah, it's still a struggle, but we're hanging in there, and we're making it consistent pa rin.
Right, right. And it feels like, if I can relate this to my school days, like a school club, right? Where it's open,
Yeah.
you meet on a weekly basis and you interact with people. Efren, how does this strategy, or do you have any additional points, especially on a global community?
Yeah, absolutely. All right, just to reiterate some of Michelle's points, we actually run the world's largest Shopify meetup. So Shopify, the e-commerce platform, we run the world's largest Shopify meetup, both virtually and in person in the Philippines. And a very similar experience to Michelle as far as, the first one that we did for Shopify, which was in 2018, I think now, we actually, I think, only had 20 people, if that, in a small room, just kind of coming together to talk about it. And now the last one we did was 1,300. And it really is just that building up of momentum and ensuring that you can have the caliber of content to add value to a community. And ultimately, that's what we're trying to do, right? Like, be it the user group or Build Hers or, what we do with Shopify or Edukasion. It's all about building a community, and it's really about imparting wisdom and knowledge and guidance. I also think that there is the element of what it actually means for a broader community as well. So I'll give you an example. We had a case with the Shopify platform when we started doing the meetups where at the time, Shopify is an e-commerce platform that's essentially, when you go to a company website, it's that back end that lets you put things in shopping carts and send it, etc. And at the time, in the Philippines, they only had one delivery cost built into the system. So you could only send from, Luzon to Davao for the same price as you would from Quezon City to Cainta, as an example. And we actually had one of the members of the community identify the issue and at one of the meetups create a movement and a petition that we then went to Shopify head office in Canada to say this is an issue. And very soon afterwards, based on that momentum and movement in the community, that got coded into the software and got changed. And I think it's really important for these communities like the ones I've built or the ones that the two ladies here have built as well, is they can actually influence change. And, when it's change being spearheaded out of the Philippines, that's a really nice thing to see because it does put the Philippines on the map. I see Sunny in the comments on Facebook, it said, the internet's the great leveler as far as knowledge base and an understanding of technology. And I think that's a two-way thing. Like the people in the Philippines as a community can influence a lot of change globally as well when they come together and work together.
Right. Thank you for that. Speaking about goals and inspiration, I'd like to ask our next question to AWS Build Hers, especially since we have an AWS user group and it's a global community. What is the overall inspiration and goals that your community would like to foster?
That's a very interesting question, Rafi. So we've heard Efren and Sunny mentioned, technology is actually a great equalizer. The community's inspiration is that there's a safe space for women and LGBT plus to grow and excel. In the cloud industry and the cloud space. Would like to see more women get certified. For career shifters, I mentioned earlier, to actually start their tech career and to grow and hone their skills also. At the same time, those who are actually, a professional already to be able to mentor other women and LGBT plus also. So we'd like to grow and create more visibility so that, we can have more opportunities for women in this industry. So yun yung pinaka goal ng community. So it's a safe space. You can ask questions. It won't be considered as a silly question. You can simply ask like, how do you start? Where do you learn how to be certified as a cloud practitioner? Ano yung mga next steps on how to pass and etc. So you can simply ask questions, and other women would be happy to mentor, or even other members would be happy to mentor also. So just like what Michelle said, would like to see, and invite more women who are members already to invite their friends, to invite their peers, or for the students to actually start participating in the community, because we'd like for the community to grow and develop the next set of leaders. That's really important in a community.
Right, and I totally agree with this. The representation in we know in media, right? Over the years, our culture, our values have really changed as we get more and more representation in TV, right? We have more diversity, ethnicity in our movies, shows, and so I hope to see that as well in our tech community and in communities and speakers in general as
Yeah.
well.
If I may add, Rafi, because
Sure.
when you have a diverse group, right, it fosters kasi the problem solving, the ideas. So it actually becomes really, powerful also, because it's not just a one-sided idea. It actually grows into really, pitching of great ideas, sharing of great minds.
Right. So again, audience, please do feel free to also comment, and we'll check your comments and ask them. No, so the questions I have will be supplemented with the questions that you have. So my next question, you've already mentioned how the Filipino people were able to contribute as a community into Shopify, and since we are also giving a lot of other examples, we want to copy phishing or understand more on culture building. I think I want to ask this question to Efren, which is, can you share another project or contribution that you really are proud of that we should really emulate?
Yeah, a good question, Rafi. And I think the biggest thing, in my opinion, is something that you guys are doing in Edukasion, and I think a lot of smart businesses in the Philippines are doing, is really using the concept of collective wisdom and what Miss Grace said earlier, as far as having the platform of a very clear vision and values and a mission of the business, and empowering people to make decisions. I think one of the challenges that we do face in that marketplace at the moment is the traditional style of thinking of a very traditional and bureaucratic top-down approach that stifles thinking at the bottom. And I think when we talk about initiatives and projects that I'm quite proud of, is going through the process of empowering our people to start thinking about what role they play in the direction and the creativity and the collective wisdom of our business. Because ultimately, it's really about unshackling these sort of, as Shell was saying earlier, the stereotypes, and making safe places for people to think and develop and grow. User groups are really great for that, but I think from an organizational point of view, and seeing what what Miss Grace said earlier is a perfect example of that. Giving people permission to identify a problem, verbalize it without fear, making mistakes because mistakes are natural, and then just being able to embrace that. I think it's a very core thing in our business right now, is just breaking those stereotypes, trying to move away from a hierarchy structure. Because one of the things we find with our clients in Australia, the UK, US, is they're very objective orientated, whereas sometimes the Filipino stereotype can be, or the tradition can be, very task orientated. But I think there's a lot of young, driven people who want to be objective focused, and want to be not micromanaged, but being given a top-down approach and say, okay, this is the objective that you need to meet. Be creative and come up with your own ways to create solutions, and work collaboratively and inclusively to come up with those solutions. So when we talk about initiatives, Raf, I'd probably say just empowering, especially the younger guys in our team, to really just express themselves through the solutions they come up with, the way they work, especially in a time where connectivity is really important to all of us, because we're not sitting physically in the same space. it's good to be able to unleash that kind of trait in people at the moment as well.
Right. Thank you for that now. And I'd also like to show this comment from Sunny also. It's an old series, but in Star Trek, the Vulcan alien race have a saying, infinite diversities is infinite combinations. No? Like the youth, the ladies, the LGBT plus, globally as well, right? That really gives us that infinite possibilities for everyone. We have a question here from Maybe, uh, which is how do you deal with individuals who are new to your community or user group? Maybe again I will field these question to anyone who wants to take up this question.
Maybe I can start. Okay.
Okay.
So, it's a community. You have to make sure that everyone is, very much welcome. So you can introduce yourself, whether you're a student, what do you do, what your interests are, and what you're hoping to learn from the community also. And, people will actually start sharing what they can contribute on how they can help you with your journey and things like that. So that's a good start. It's enough when you join, when you look at different conversations, you can also start introducing yourself and what's your goal in joining the community. Maybe Michelle can add also if there are other suggestions.
The same. So I just feel dealing with them is like a punishment. Baka matakot lalo. No, the new. So here's the thing. The new members or the new attendees, they're actually it's a gold mine of that's a data point for us if I may speak. Kasi if they return, then that's a good sign, right? That you were able to first attract the right audience with your format, with your topic, with your speaker, or whatever that may be, no? And if they don't, and then you will also know, okay, hindi pala siya. But as Shell said, no, same process. Everyone is, of course, welcoming, doon naman sa community and all that. And we just make sure that, let's say there's always me and my co-organizers who are there to do the usual, welcome, and this is how we are. We're friendly people. We don't bite, and then that's P, right? Now that's the yun yung key, no? How do you make sure that this new member attends again the next meetup? So yun yung we just watch out for the data point, as we said, because you have that anyway in the meetup.com. You're not promoting them, but you can also see the logs, no, the attendance. So for me, it's really important to be always conscious that every meetup that you have, you may always have that opportunity to sustain the interest of the new members. Hindi naman, just already ignoring and disregarding the feedback of the old members, but making sure that, okay, this is a new profile maybe that you have that you've attracted because of the topic, and you'd want to know more, no? So, sir, kayo po ba ay professor? Are you part of the faculty? Or, how did you hear about us? So these are, the data points that we want to consider and keep track of moving forward.
All right, thank you for that. I think I'll. Yes, go ahead, Efren.
Oh no! I was just going to add just one last thing. Sorry, Raf. Also, just on Michelle's point about keeping them engaged, it's the content, right? The content and the community that you're creating. If you can have some really meaningful content that is adding value and people feel like it adds value to what they're doing, then that's a big part of the battle as well, right? So I think it's just constantly thinking about what sort of content do new members of the community want to see and want to learn, and just keep looking at it that way.
Right. No, so actually, very interestingly, my next question is from a perspective of a new member, right? It might be especially for let's say some of our user groups that are already well established, they have leaders who are seasoned. If you are a new member, or maybe you consider yourself not management or leader material, no? What are some of your tips that your voice will be heard? And so I'll field this question to Shell.
Okay. So, I believe that everyone can actually bring in value. And, everyone has a good idea to share. So, people have different ways of sharing. Medyo, siguro kung bago, medyo nahihiya pa. So, it's either you can, send a direct message to one of the organizers or co-organizers. The other is, just simply put it in the group, in the Facebook group, your idea. For example, you want to lead a topic, or you want to help organize, the review sessions for, a certification or things like that. Or simply, you don't have to be an expert to start sharing. That's one thing that we want to normalize also. You don't need to be an expert on a particular topic to start sharing. But for example, as simple as like you're exploring, say, S3 or either Lambda or serverless, and you started learning about it. So you can actually start sharing, this is how I started, this is how I learned, this is some of the struggles or challenges that I encountered. Maybe somebody else will learn from, my journey or what I discovered. Or I discovered a solution to a bug, and I actually put it in GitHub or something like that. So you can actually start sharing, even on the simplest ideas also. Yun yung isa pa rin natin kailangan i-normalize. Hindi kailangan maging eksperto or hindi kailangan maging sobrang galing sa isang topic para magsimula kang mag-share. So, anything that you want to try or to learn, the community can actually foster and help you, either to, help you grow your skills and your talent, or even your public speaking skills also. Make a mix na yan, pati soft skills mo na nakukuha sa community din, di ba? So, natatanggal yung hiya factor. So, that's one way. If you're really, really shy, you can email your ideas. And if you have, Michelle here is a data person. If you have data to back up your suggestions, that would be great also. But I would suggest that, you just simply start sharing. Just make sure you can pitch your ideas. You can, let your voice be heard. It's very, very important, especially nowadays. Yun. So maybe others can have other
Yeah.
great tips or suggestions also.
Right.
Yeah, let
And
me add to that, Shell. Oh, sorry, Rafi. Kasi
yes.
it is people tend to, especially, they stereotype Filipinos, at least, back in my day. I don't know. They stereotype Filipinos na parang you tend to be quiet, you don't ask, you're passive aggressive about your teachers, 'di ba? Parang hintayin mo na the session is over, then that's when you rant about the speaker or something like that. But I think it's more um, for communities, particularly for user groups. The fact that you joined, that's already a big step. Now, maybe not necessarily that you have leadership skills, but don't think about that, right? The purpose of the community is of these user groups is to share the knowledge and network and build communities. And if you're not leader material, or if you're not part of the management, that's not part of the qualifications to be part of the community. And yeah, just join. That's the first step, and that means that you want to be part of it. No, you have that same purpose as the rest of the people in the community, and you will feel that it will come naturally when you see other people who are similar, to your profile, are all bonding. And that's because it doesn't take, and for me, this is my, like, my major tip, kasi talaga more like a final message thing, is the community it should transcend leaders, it should transcend organizers. it is there for that common mission. No? That's the one that binds everyone. So if you are a new member and you want to be part of this mission, you want to contribute to it, then go ahead, 'di ba? No one will judge you for it. If you feel that taas ako ng kamay, tas baka judge nila ako kasi I have a stupid question, I didn't know about R or about S3, but in the community, in the spirit of the community, there's no judgment naman talaga, 'di ba? So that's the reason why it exists, no, to help everyone to get into a certain level and be comfortable and network with everyone else. So yeah, you forget about siguro yon mga ating ayokong sabihin na ating Filipino culture, because it's not, no? It's starting to be not the case. But just forget about those inhibitions and maybe your hesitation because you haven't done this before, you haven't spoken or shared anything at the meetup. You won't believe how many fresh grads we had at the our users group who right now are data scientists in big companies, and then they look back and say, I just started out attending and lurking and observing in the meetups, and then I'm able to do it myself after how many months, right? So yeah, we want more of those stories, so please go ahead and just join.
Right. And we know that new members really are, membership, new members, they are the culture, no, of an organization. It's people that defines the
Yeah.
culture, no. But I wanted to ask, or at least expand on this question about company and community angle, and I'll ask this to Efren. In companies we have the advantage of doing an interview, right? Basically, we pick people coming into our companies, but in communities, it's not always the case, right? So, what are some of your tips or strategies in terms of how people can be heard more, right, if they're new to a organization?
To an organization? Okay, great. Good question, Rafi. I think the main thing is, I think the same lines of thinking apply in this new world that we're in, because if we have a look at the companies in a lot of Western cultures, there is a very much mindset of people being able to say what they think. And I agree with Michelle's point about the stereotypes and the reservedness of the Filipino culture, or the former reservedness. And I think nowadays it's really important, especially for young Filipino talent, to be able to have that confidence, to be able to think, or not only to verbalize what they're thinking, especially in a work environment. Because one of the things that we're seeing is, again, with Sunny's point earlier, the internet's an equalizer. We're all learning from the same playbooks as far as the internet's concerned, and great ideas come from anywhere. And what we are also seeing is smart businesses understand that, and they're tapping into that, and they know that great ideas are going to come from all corners of the world, all ages, backgrounds, ethnicity, whatever it may be. So within a work context, if people are going to interviews, I would be very much recommending that they look into the company to make sure that the company believes in that sort of mindset, growth mindset, has very definitive values and cultures around that. And then secondly, within an interview process, having the strength, having the ability to just say that that's what they are looking for, that they want to be in an environment that's collaborative, and they want their voice to be heard. And I think smart managers, smart leaders in this post-knowledge era will gravitate towards that, as opposed to what was once, before, we just need someone who can do A, B, C. I think now good leaders and good managers want to be the not smartest person in the room, as Miss Gray said earlier.
Right. And so to wrap up our panel discussion, going back to our title, Fishing for the Best Practices, Understanding and Developing Organizational Culture, our last question really is about your last message. Can you share some, hacks, productivity tips, so that we can be a efficient and sustainable community or organization? And I'll start off with Efren, and then we'll do.
Thank you, Rafi. I would say the biggest hack or productivity tool for effective and sustainable communities is Understand yourself, and then understand the people that are around you and work in tribes. So like-minded people are very productive together. And if you can find like-minded people, then that's a big part of the battle.
Right. Thank you. Michelle?
Yeah, for us, it's so getting the word out. So we learned just recently. Okay, we just had a Facebook page, very late in the game, so 8 years, maybe on our fifth year or something. So that has extended our reach and productivity. I would say, and getting engagement up, it's Slack. So we have a workspace where we keep all announcements there, and then there's also channels for mentoring circles, and even job opportunities are posted there as well. No, so I would say those two. But as a general hack, if I may, no, if I may share that as my last message as well. So for leaders and organizers of community, so your mission and not the person or personalities. That's the reason why the community gets together. So we have to be clear with your mission so you can attract the right people into your community, the right members, also the right partners to support you, and each of your members can actually be representing your community on their own, what you stand for, because it's very clear to them, right? So adjust, innovate, and evolve as you go, but do not forget your purpose.
Right. Thank you so much. And Shell?
Wow. Okay. So, what I've been, what I think are really helpful in terms of productivity tools, Notion is a very great tool for planning, for note taking. For communications, there would be three: Discord for the younger ones. There's Slack also, and Facebook Messenger, because everyone's in Facebook and it's a lot easier to communicate also. So, yeah, I just want to share also that, this is the best time to join communities. Whether you want to learn or you want to give back and mentor other people also, especially now we're in a pandemic. So this is the best way to actually help out and, help us thrive and survive. And by learning new things, sharing new tools, and etc. So join the community, any community that you think you'll be interested in. So check it out, whether it's technology, it's soft skills, and etc. or digital marketing skills.
Right.
So there
So
will be a
again,
community for you.
yes. So thank you so much, panelists. It's a great insight. I learned a lot from everyone here, and I hope that we can see you again in the future episodes as well of our Community Ignite series. Okay, so again, thank you, every panelist. So as
Thank
I
you for
move,
having us.
Thank
yes,
you.
thank you, thank you, thank you. So again, everyone, to our audience, thank you for interacting with us. As Acha Abe mentioned, innovate and evolve. That's what really we are doing here, innovate and evolve. And so as we are about to close, of course, I'd like to once again invite everyone to stay tuned to our Community Ignite series by following our social media accounts at Education in Facebook, Instagram, and even on Twitter. Right? This is the start of our series, right? So this will not be the only episode that you will see. We will have a lot more series upcoming, right? And of course, we want to always improve here. And so that's why I would like actually to take some time and show you a QR code and a link that you may give us feedback, right? Do scan that right now and give us feedback on how this episode went and give us insights on how we can do this much better. And, me personally, in terms of giving my own tips to this topic, about culture, I really like the culture of Amazon or AWS, the leadership principle, where they really have some set of guides and set of what you call this they really have some sort of motto. I have a lot of motto in my life, and the principles of AWS is also one of those. And I'd like to share a short video about how you could have a successful project if you follow some of these leadership and some of these uh, tips on how they do it on our co-presenters and our our supporters at AWS and AWS Cloud Pilipinas. So please watch this video.
A big transformation, like migrating to the cloud, isn't only a technical change, it also requires strong leadership support. Thousands of organizations have successfully migrated with AWS by following certain best practices that can help you be set up for success. First, get stakeholders and senior leaders aligned so they can be your champions when setbacks arise. Then, set measurable top-down goals that enable your company to transform and modernize, moving faster than before. Next, train your teams so they have the skills that enables them to operate on the cloud. And finally, trust the process and don't let workload paralysis get in your way. While implementing these proven cloud migration best practices, it's important to follow the AWS process. Assess, mobilize, and migrate and modernize to ensure there are no stalls in your migration journey. Lead with confidence. Migrate and modernize with AWS and take advantage of the most complete migration solutions.
All right, again, thank you, everyone. That is our show already. Please we'll flash again the QR code and the URL so that you can give us feedback and comment. Thank you, everyone, and goodbye.
We realize that high school, college, even a first job can seem scary. That's why we created EdukasyonPH to equip them with tools, connect them to schools, find scholarships, learn online, match their skills to courses and jobs out there. So their future wouldn't be as scary. EdukasyonPH.